Let's talk about a trading secret that is hiding in plain sight. Seriously, it's not some brand new indicator or a super fancy algorithm. Nope, it's the simple but incredibly powerful act of waiting. And honestly, it might just be the most profitable tool you have.
So let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt just completely burned out by the market? You follow all the signals, you're using the right tools, but you still wind up in a losing streak, just scratching your head wondering what on earth you're doing wrong. It is such a frustrating place to be, I know.
But what if the answer isn't another piece of software? What if it's not some new indicator you have to buy? What if the real solution is something you already possess, but you just need to develop it? See, the whole idea we're digging into here is that real success comes when you shift your focus away from all those external tools and onto an internal skill. And that brings us right to the first big hurdle that so many traders face. Let's just call it what it is, the indicator trap. It's this vicious cycle that feels really productive, but more often than not, it just leads to losses.
This quote, wow, it gets right to the heart of the matter. It's one of those moments of brutal honesty that I think a lot of us can really relate to. The problem wasn't the market, it wasn't some faulty indicator, it was a failure to stick to the plan. It was a complete breakdown in personal discipline. And this is what that breakdown usually looks like, right? Especially when you're just starting out. It's this constant chase for the perfect setup. You're jumping from indicator to indicator, hoping one will be the magic bullet. But the thing is, these indicators can lag, they can repaint and give you these awful false signals, or they just end up creating a screen full of confusing, contradictory noise.
So, if the problem is this indicator trap, what's the real diagnosis? Well, it really boils down to this fundamental conflict: a battle between two opposing forces. The constant urge for activity versus the quiet strength of discipline.
And this right here, this is the key. You have to get this. The market does not care how many trades you make. It doesn't hand out points for being busy. The only thing it rewards is making the right trades. And that, my friends, requires a huge amount of discipline.
And this just lays it out perfectly. You can feel the difference between these two mindsets. Over on the left, you've got the trader who's just chasing activity. There's this constant need to force a trade, which leads to all this tension and hesitation. But then, on the right, you have the disciplined trader. They're calm, they're clear. Why? Because they're not trying to force anything to happen. They are simply waiting for their proven A+ setup to appear.
Okay, so enough about the problem. Let's pivot and talk about the solution. Because if the problem is just a bunch of undisciplined activity, then the solution is mastering what might be the most underrated skill in all of trading: the skill of just waiting.
Now, let's be really clear about what we mean by trading patience. This isn't about just sitting on your hands and passively hoping for the best. No, it is an active and a deliberate decision. It's you making a conscious choice to pull the trigger only when the market hands you a clear signal that lines up perfectly with your rules.
And that's the beautiful paradox of patience in trading, isn't it? Doing nothing is actually one of the most strategic moves you can make. Every single moment you spend on the sidelines waiting for your perfect setup, you're not just avoiding bad trades, you are actively protecting your capital. You are exercising control in an environment that is pure chaos.
All right, so we get the concept, but how do we actually apply it? How do we turn this big idea into a concrete day-to-day framework? Well, that brings us to the rules of patience.
Here are 4 simple but incredibly powerful rules to live by. Rule number 1, no setup equals no trade, period. This means you have a crystal clear, non-negotiable list of criteria, and if the market doesn't check every single box, you walk away. 2, waiting protects your capital. Think of your money as your soldiers. You don't just send them into any random battle, you wait for the one where you have the highest probability of winning. 3, fewer trades, better accuracy. This isn't about being some kind of trigger-happy gunslinger. It's about being a patient hunter. You wait for the highest quality setups, and you'll find your win rate just naturally starts to climb. And finally, number 4, clarity beats indicators every single time. When you're calm and focused, you see the market with a kind of clarity that no lagging indicator could ever hope to give you. So what happens when you truly master this skill? What is the ultimate payoff for all this hard work?
Well, it's nothing short of completely transforming your entire relationship with the markets.
And I'm not exaggerating when I say this. It really is a superpower. In a world that is constantly screaming for more action and instant gratification, the ability to just sit calmly and wait for the perfect moment, well, that gives you an unbelievable edge over almost everyone else out there.
And the benefits are amazing.
First, your strategy becomes crystal clear because you're no longer being distracted by all the market noise. Second, your emotions calm way down because you're trading with confidence now, not fear or greed. And third, what's the natural result of a clear strategy and calm emotions? You guessed it, more consistent results.
I really want this quote to sink in. Think about it. The market is like a river of endless opportunities. There will always be another trade. But your capital? That's a finite resource. Once it's gone, it is gone. Your number one job as a trader isn't to make money. It's to protect the money you already have. And the absolute best way to do that is with patience.
So, I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if you completely reframed your goal for the day? What if real success wasn't about squeezing out a profit, but about perfectly executing your discipline? What if the best, the most profitable trade you can possibly make today is no trade at all?